It starts last week at the summit between President Trump and Vladimir Putin of Russia. You believe that was only a week ago? That was only a week ago. There was a landmark moment in the question and answer period at the summit where the two presidents were asked questions by reporters. And a Reuters reporter named Jeff Mason stood up and asked a very direct and a very important question to Vladimir Putin. You probably remember this moment if you watched the summit that day or if you watched any of the news coverage thereafter. But just for the record, this is actually what happened in that moment.
Options abound, and they all can be found in an
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election, and did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the U.S.-Russia relationship back to normal.
Okay, so that happened in real life in front of a room full of people, and it was covered live around the world. Let's just nail this down. Let's do this one more time, except this time we'll put up the transcript of what happened right next to the Q&A.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election, and did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the U.S.-Russia relationship back to normal.
Now, as of right now, tonight, here is the official White House transcript of that same moment. See that? In the White House transcript, look at what is missing. In the White House transcript, we've still got President Putin's answer, yes, I did, yes, I did. But the White House just dropped the question that he was actually answering there. The White House transcript has no reference to Jeff Mason from Reuters asking President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election? That's not in the White House transcript. And you know, sometimes transcripts are wrong. They're very rarely wrong on such a high-profile, simple thing, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's not unheard of for a White House transcript to be inaccurate. And when that happens, there's sort of an informal process where reporters point out something that's wrong or something that's missing or something that's mischaracterized in the transcript, and then the White House later makes a fix to the official transcript. It happens not all the time, but it happens fairly frequently. It's not that big a deal. The Atlantic published this criticism, noting that the transcript was wrong. And after the Atlantic first published this account, a lot of other news outlets picked it up, pointed out that the White House transcript was wrong. The White House is apparently not correcting it. It is still incorrect tonight. The White House video of this exchange has also skillfully cut out that question from the Reuters reporter as if it didn't happen. Here first is the real one.
Options abound, and they all can be found in an
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election, and did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That's the real one. Now watch what the White House has posted online instead.
Options abound, and they all can be found in an appropriate legal framework.
And did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
They just dropped it out. First part of his question, President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election? They just dropped that out. What the White House has disappeared from the official U.S. government record of that meeting, both in print and in their video of the meeting, is President Putin answering in the affirmative when he's asked if he wanted Trump to win the election. Just for kicks, if you want to check out the Russian government version of this, their transcript, their supposed transcript of this event, in the Russian transcript, Jeff Mason from Reuters not only doesn't ask his full question, Jeff Mason of Reuters doesn't even exist in the Russian transcript. See where that red arrow is? They've just completely taken out that whole part of the Q&A where the Reuters reporter asked that question. A critical exchange deleted from the transcript. A reporter's question edited out of the videotape. The U.S. government essentially following the Kremlin's playbook and maintaining that something we all saw happen with our own eyes, we all heard happen with our own ears, has nevertheless disappeared. Right? Well, now today we got the inevitable payoff. We got the inevitable next step from our president on this point. I do think that you should see this from his Twitter feed today. He said, quote, I'm very concerned that Russia will be fighting very hard to have an impact on the upcoming election. They'll be pushing very hard for the Democrats. They definitely don't want Trump. A week ago, live on television in front of hundreds of in a room full of hundreds of reporters, President Putin actually said, "I want Trump." You know that to be true. You will know that to be true as long as you can remember it. But if the official record never says that happened, if it's not there on the tape, if it's not there in the transcripts, how fast before that disappears from what is supposed to be recorded history? This statement from the president, it's obviously factually inaccurate, but it's an important signal that we are back in this part of the movie again. This is a kind of political challenge that we don't really train for as Americans. The president disappearing evidence, telling you that things you actually saw live when they happened, those things didn't really happen. Things you heard, you didn't really hear them. Going beyond that to insist that actually what you think you saw, you actually saw the opposite. Putin stood there and said, "I wanted Trump." We'll tell you what he said is, "I wanted the Democrats." The president disappearing evidence that lays there in plain sight, pretending that up is down and black is white. I think we should see this, as Americans, as a signal, broadly, that this is garbage time again. We are back into a politically potent era of deliberate nonsense. Disinformation, which is a form of information warfare. And it's being waged against us.